What is up, YouTube? That's here. Today we are back playing more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC 2023 team fixing. Today's team features Altaria and Grumpig. I don't think I've ever actually used a Grumpig. I've used a lot of Pokemon like it, but this is probably going to be my very first time ever featuring one of these Pokemon. It's holding a Bright Powder. It's a Trick Room and Prison user. There's a really cool set with a Ghost Terra that I'm super excited to use. The rest of the team is going to be Tinkaton, Mousehold, Murkrow, and Goldango. Very solid squad. I feel at my first glance it's a little bit lacking in the offensive department. It seems like there's a bunch of defensive options, things like, you know, Hazes, Bright Powder, Grumpig, Redirection, Fake Out, but it's really left up to just Altaria and Goldango to deal damage, which means if your opponent gets up like a light screen or something, we might be in for a little bit of a problem. You can see this team actually is submitted by Max Preston on Patreon. There's a whole write-up, and I love how in-depth they are about this write-up. But basically, they say they really want to feature Altaria, they say they really want to feature Grumpig, and the rest of the mons, I'm open to changing them if I have to. I don't know if I will. I feel if anything, the Mousehold doesn't really fit. That's just my general opinion. I feel you're probably going to want one mon that gets like Brick Break or can break screens, or even at least like a physical option. Something like a Pult seems like a really solid mon on this team potentially. But this is their full write-up. They're super excited to get this team fixed. And one little look at the EVs and IVs here. You can see 252 over here. This thing doesn't even have the last move. It's at Dazzling Gleam is supposed to go here. They didn't even submit it with Dazzling Gleam. You have the Gigaton Hammer here. This is, you see like a lot of these EVs need work. Like 112 doesn't get you anything, it's wasting 4 points. 8s don't get you anything, those should be 4, so you're wasting a total of 8 points on just that set alone. You're wasting points over there in the 240 as well. This is fine, but you know, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. I want to say thank you guys so much to everyone that actually watches these videos, like these little team fixings. I try my best to be as like optimistic and as positive as possible. I do think on paper this team has a lot of good things going for it. Altaria is a very unique mon that's actually really underrated in this format. We're going to make a bunch of really cool Altaria sets a little bit later on today. Goldango, Murkrow, always solid. Redirection, Fake Out. These are the cores of how you actually build a correct team, in my opinion. We just need to fine tune it a little bit. So I just want to say thank you again to everyone that's watching, everyone that leaves the supportive comments. I really love reading them every single morning. And without further ado, let's get right on into the games and see if we can, you know, to see how the team actually works before we actually go into fixing anything. Because if nothing's broken, there's no reason to fix it. So let's go play some games with the team. Alright, little Dozo Bozo, and that is Colpult. This is complete matchup roulette. You know, I've been talking a lot about the term matchup roulette, and that's basically where they have 3 different cores they can go. They can go Tatsu Dozo, they can go Pult, Cold, they can even have like a Storm Drain on the Tatsu and like be not even a real Tatsu Dozo core. That could just be like a Yon Dozo. And then they also have the Armor Rouge Indity. Those are all really polarizing things that take a bunch of different stuff to beat. So how do we want to deal with that? Murkrow would beat the Dozo. Murkrow would beat the Pult. So that means realistically, like Murkrow and Goldango are probably the best bet. I want to check on this Goldango set real quick and see if it has Trick. I hope that it does. Looks like it doesn't. So you definitely got to put Trick on that thing. That's one of the main benefits of using like a choice item set like this is you can run Trick. So that's one thing to note for a little bit later. Bring both those guys. And like we don't need the Altaria and the Grumpig, but like we really don't need the Grumpig. Like we don't need to use it if there's no Imprison. I mean, maybe we could bring it with Imprison. Like, are they going to go Trick Room on me? They might just Trick Room me. You know what? Let's just do it then. Let's just pop off. Let's go these two. These two lose to the Dozo core and the Colpult core, but like, I think this will be fun. And if they happen to lead like Indity, this is the one matchup where like Altaria Grumpig could work. So I'm excited to actually try what the team was submitted for, and I'm hoping that I'm calling right on the matchup roulette. This loses the Dozo Tatsu, and this loses to Colpult. But it should maybe be able to beat the Indity squad. Show me Indity Zero Edge. Yo! I mean Armor Rouge, but yo, we did it! Okay. Hey, you know what? Risk reward, that's what we do here. So, in this situation, we can go for an Imprison on the Trick Room. They might be wide guarding, I don't actually know. There's not really that many things we need to do here. Draco's okay, but we get that stat drop. Heat Wave would just proc the Flash Fire. We don't really have any moves that we could use. So you can already start to see that this Altaria set is super clunky. And we don't want to go like Water Terra just yet, just because like that's not great. I think what we're gonna do is just pop a Draco into the Armor Rouge slot. They're probably gonna be redirecting, and we're just gonna pop the Imprison. And the Imprison imprisons the Hyper Voice on the Indity too, which is really nice. Helping Hand. Wow, no Trick Room. Wow. Wow, no Trick Room. Are they faster than we are? We got the Imprison. I wonder if they're gonna like armor cannon the Grumpig. We have thick fat, like we dummy thick out here. Draco Meteor popping it off literally. So much. We almost had it. Almost had it. That's within range for Hyper Voice though, I think. And Expanding Force. Big damage. Bright Powder doesn't work here. Altaria actually going down is probably a good thing. Like, I'm not gonna lie. That's like probably a good thing. And we got the Imprison up there. Orbed. Wow. So the last two mons that they have in the back are going to be really, really amazing, I would say. I think we're going to go Goldango. And we're doing this just to make sure that they want to wide guard. Like, are they going to wide guard here? We should be faster with this Grumpig set. If you actually go take a look at the EVs on the Grumpig, we're actually a full speed set. So, like, we do outspeed that Armor Rouge with our Grumpig, I think. Yeah, we went for the Imprison before they made their move last turn. So, like, we can just do a couple other weird moves here. Make It Rain is a good option. Terra Flying, we don't need to do that. I'll go for the Make It Rain. It's okay. If you want to wide guard, like, I still get my Shadow Ball into that slot. That's why this is fine. Like, go for the wide guard. Go for it. Protect Indy, absolutely fine. So we actually aren't even going to get the stat drop because Grumpig should be outspeeding. Actually, do outspeed Goldango? Oh, we don't. So we get the stat drop for, like, no reason. That sucks. Oh, well. And so what are they going to be bringing out here? This is a weird switch for them. Like, they're protecting the Indy. I don't know if this is the right spot, though. Armor Rage goes down. So I guess... Are they going to have Coldport or Dozo Tatsu? If they have Dozo Tatsu, we have Murkrow. Like, we're good to go. We have the Murkrow ready, willing, and able to go. Just to bring it in and go for Haze. Still close, though. They have, like, they could pivot out. There's so many different situations here. This is where I would have loved to have Trick. Like, I would have sent out Murkrow instead. Like, Trick here would have been able to let us seal up that Dozo slot. Let's see. Is it going to be Tatsu coming out here? Is it going to be Dozo? It's going to be Tatsu. Okay. I'm not as afraid of that thing as I probably should be. Like, I'm just not. You're going to go Helping Hand here and, like, Muddy Water. I'm just going to use another one of these. And might as well just pop a Hyper Voice here. Do we need to Terra? There's no reason to Terra. I mean, we could Shadow Ball for stab damage, but, like, we might as well just save it. We're almost out of Trick Room, or out of, what is it? Psychic Terrain turns, so we can go for Sucker Punches with Murkrow in the back. I think the Murkrow might be Dark Terra. It should definitely be Dark Terra. Or Dark Terra. Awesome, that's great. So the last mon is going to be the Dozo. Like, it has to be. This is going to do good damage here. Good damage to both. And Grumpig's not going to be doing that much with Hyper Voice. The only reason we have Hyper Voice is that we can imprison it. Muddy Water should be also okay here. Doesn't get any KOs. That's great. And they outspeed us there. So, this is a really weird situation where, like, we have to switch in our Murkrow here just to be able to reuse the Goldango. And then Grumpig's going to go down unless we get an absolutely amazing, massive dodge with our Bright Powder. Yo, Bright Powder's up. Have to switch out here. Have to do it. We're going to relock ourselves into Thunderbolt, most likely. And, yeah, we were already at -1. Like, we'd have to crit that Tatsu to actually do anything to it. So, Helping Hand, they're going for big damage. I can't believe they actually went for this. That's so greedy. Hopefully, Murkrow doesn't get KO'd here, but we probably do because we're still a full speed set. We do not dodge anything. Murkrow gets OHKO'd and that's basically just loses the game. So, I want to also talk a little bit about, like, this Murkrow set. There's absolutely no reason to be, like, an aggressive Murkrow set. This is a great read by our opponent. There's nothing we could have really done there. Murkrow being Eviolite here gives it, like, the bulk, but we don't have any investment in bulk. So, like, the 1.5s that you're getting to these defenses, if you don't have the HP to match it, if you don't have the defense investment to match it, or the special defense to match it, it doesn't do anything. You're effectively itemless on this Murkrow. Hopefully you can understand that, like, a Tatsu with just a Helping Hand move OHKO'd us with a spread move neutral attack that wasn't even, like, a base 100 before stab. So hopefully you understand that, like, you can't really get away with an Eviolite if you're not going to invest in the stats. That's like putting a Choice Scarf on your Mon and just, like, not putting any speed investment. It usually doesn't do anything. So in this situation, we basically do lose. I don't see a single situation where we're going to be able to get out of this. Make It Rain would probably get a double KO here, but then we would just lose to the Dozo in the back. I think the only out that we have is to Thunderbolt this slot and try and crit their Dozo. It's the only out that we possibly have in case they wanted to switch out Indeedee for Dozo. But again, they just shouldn't. They should just go for Muddy Waters. So we'll play it out. That was the best possible situation we could have had for using this team, in my opinion. Like, we had the counter. They didn't go for the Trick Room. I wish that they went for the Trick Room. But, like, there isn't going to be a better situation where we can probably try. Yeah, they're not even, they're just playing this 100% correctly. The fodder the Indeedee, and, like, actually, I'm really surprised they did that, because, like, what if I just KO'd your Tatsu? That's very surprising. that means they might not have, like, I feel like going from anywhere there is more risky. Anyways, that's just my opinion. There's nothing that we could have done in that situation, like I said. We were already too low health, but close game. Hopefully you can kind of understand that, like, we had the Imprison on the TR, and Altaria just doesn't have the right moves to be able to pin things. Yes, this is good coverage, but there's no flying coverage. Draco makes our stat drops, which means we're a terrible partner for things like GRUMPIG, and in those situations, like, in the best case scenario, which this core could actually be used, it still falls short. So that doesn't mean that the core itself is bad. It means that the moveset choices, the item choices, and the EV choices were suboptimal for the situation. I feel if we had a little bit more bulky Altaria, a little bit more bulky wall GRUMPIG, those could actually let them get TR up. You don't need to imprison everything. You don't always need an imprison user on your team. There's so many things you can do where you just let your opponent get up the Trick Room and say, cool, you have Trick Room, but, like, you can't actually do anything to me. Like, that's one of the values of having, like, thick fat on this thing. You don't have to care about an Armor Rouge, like, at all. There's nothing they can really do to break you. So we don't need to be imprisoning. We don't need to be trying to OHKO things with, like, weird spread moves and weird terras. We can actually kind of just use Roosts, soak some damage, put up some screens, and wait out that Trick Room instead of going for absolutely trying to wall it or, you know, imprison it from the start. So hopefully the next game goes a little bit better, and let's see what else this team has to offer. Okay. Gargarnacle, T-Tar, Garchomp. This is a good matchup for Goldango. And so, like, Goldango, Murkrow work well here. They struggle a little bit with things like Lycanroc. So another thing that we could do is even, I think Tinkaton is an okay lead here. We can also go, like, Altaria. I actually didn't even notice this. If you take a look at this Altaria, it's not Cloud9, it's Natural Cure. You need to have Cloud9. That's like the only reason to ever run an Altaria in the first place, is to run Cloud9 to get rid of weather effects. I didn't even realize that when we first, like, got in these games. I don't really see a situation in which this team can beat this. I really don't. We just get absolutely rolled. There's no reason to bring Grumpig. We can bring Fake out here. Like, that's I guess a reason. But, like, you see what I was talking about? How, like, there's no offensive pressure on this team. Like, if it's all up to things like Altaria and Goldango to deal all the damage, all they gotta do is wall one of those Mons. Hell, they can do that with just the Sero Edge for the most part, and wall pretty much all of us out of the game. We're gonna go Altaria and Tinkaton. I'm not a big fan of this. I think that you could think about going Murkrow, which we will do, and then we have to bring Goldilocks, the Goldango, because we don't have any other offensive pressure. The Mouse Hold has very limited usefulness here because the Focus Hatch gets broken by the sand, and we don't really have that many damaging moves anyways. This is going to be incredibly hard. We have just having Tailwind speed control is not enough to match other teams that have Tailwind speed control plus weather. Another thing is, like, their speed control from Sandrush on their Lycanroc allows their Pokemon that are already faster than our Mons to still get that +2. So yeah, we can Tailwind next to Altaria, but the Lycanroc's just faster than Altaria in the first place. So then if we're both at +2, they're still faster and we still lose. This is the one lead that I was trying to pin, and that is we can fake out this T-Tar, Heat Wave the Scizor before they really know what's up, and then if we steal the KO on the Scizor, then we can tear the Altaria to pin the T-Tar. That was my idea in the team preview. That's kind of what we're going for, but it'd be really nice if we had a Cloud9 Altaria to make it so that T-Tar didn't have the sand boost. So we're going to go for the fake out here. We're just going to go for the raw Heat Wave. Hopefully they don't tear their Scizor, but there's nothing I can do about it. You see, like, how we're completely on the back foot in this situation, and they're probably tearing something first turn, or pivoting or switching or doing something. Like, they have such an advantage. They're tearing. Cool. So that's probably going to be Water Scizor, and we probably just lose the game. Like, that's literally it. Like, do you see how... Oh, Flying Terra? I don't understand why they always go Flying Terra. Flying Terra T-Tar is only good if you're really pinned by something. And right now, you're losing your Spadef boost, I think. You take Sand Rush damage, or Sandstorm damage. I'm just not a big fan of that. I think that's a little bit of a misplay. Heat Wave double hits. That's so nice. We get the OHKO on the Scizor. Like, we had to get that. We had to get that. The most important thing I think I've ever seen. Yes, they went Flying Terra to block the Gigaton Hammer, but they still eat the fake out. So that's amazing. Like, that should not have happened. Like, do you see how much of a cool position we could be here in as well? Is if, like, they send out the Lycanroc here. Imagine if we had Protect Altaria. We go Protect Altaria, we Thunder Wave the Lycanroc, and remember, if we were Cloud9, that'd be taking away their Sand Rush boost, and then Altaria would be able to outspeed and then pin with something else. You see, like, the slight changes we could think about making for future situations. Another thing about a lot of these rental teams that people submit is they have absolutely zero defensive pivots. Like, we have nothing to ever pivot to defensively. All our Mons just get one shot if we were to ever switch. That's why in a lot of these games where you see me, like, go for an early lead or I get the reads right and I still lose is because we can't switch. Like, there's nothing we can do to, like, repin or regain momentum. In this situation, They probably want to be rock sliding. I mean, I'm going to go for the Gigaton into this slot and the, oh my gosh, I'm going to go for the Terra Water, but I'm not a fan of it. The reason we are Terra Watering here is because we don't want to get just one-shotted by a double rock slide. Altaria should be outspeeding T-Tar, but, you know, we'll see. I mean, yeah, Altaria does outspeed the T-Tar, I think, but we don't outspeed the Lycanroc, and it's going to be going for Rock Slide. If we get flinched here, it's game. If we flinch here, it's game. If they're protecting Lycanroc and go for a Rock Slide, it's also probably going to be game. Post-combat into that slot's totally, totally fine. We don't need Tinkaton to be a bully here, but, you know, it is what it is. And let's see how this goes. Gigaton Hammer. Oh, Tinkaton's full speed. Another thing about your Tinkaton is Mold Breaker, not own tempo. You need own tempo on this thing to stop it from getting intimidated. So there's a Sash. That's why we're doubling up into that slot. You may be thinking, like, why did you go for this instead of like a Dazzling Gleam or a Heat Wave? That's double damage, or that's hitting both targets. You want to just get the Lycanroc off the board. So if you get Lycanroc off the board, you can enable your Goldango to check that T-Tar pretty easily. So we also, I didn't know if our Tinkaton was going to get KO'd or not. What did they use? They used a Steel move? I didn't actually see what they used. I saw it was not very effective. Whatever, we take those. We take those all the way to the bank. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And now we can just go for... This is where Protect, again, would be great, because we would be protecting Altaria, pivoting in something else, and then using our Fake Out once we bring it back out if Altaria gets KO'd, to then repin with Fake Out. Garchomp. Ow. Okay. Garchomp. That looks like Draco. Like, realistically, we could try a couple things. We can't go for anything with this. Tinkaton has Protect, but that doesn't really get us anything. I guess we could try and Thunder Wave the T-Tar. He's going to go Earthquake here, right? Will Earthquake KO Altaria? If he's going to Earthquake, I think I could just let both these guys go down, and then bring out the Murkrow and go Tailwind, Make It Rain. That's probably my best option, and then Sucker Punch the Garchomp to finish it off. That's probably the best thing we can do. And so that means that we just want both these guys to go down, so we'll just go for 2 attacks. We want to get any damage that we can in the situation. Any damage that we can on that Garchomp's great, so this is a good situation to use Dazzling Gleam, if, like, for some reason we get to live at all. EQ's completely fine. If, like, our Altaria lives this Earthquake, that's great. We have some HP investment. It's probably an... Oh my gosh, this is going to be great for us. This is actually really, really good that we get to live this, because this puts the Garchomp within range for the Make It Rain. The Specs Make It Rain. It's so good. The only way they win here is if they have Bright Powder and dodge the Make It Rain and, like, Earthquake. Just dumpsters our Goldango. Let's see what the T-Tar's doing. Hope it's not like a Dragon Dance or something. Rock Slide, that's what I thought. Cool, we should be able to get this one, all things considered. We have the right Mons in the back. You see the T-Tar taking that Sandstorm damage. He's just not a happy camper. So we go Murkrow here, place on the left, Goldango on the right. Doesn't really matter the order in this situation. Normally you do want your Steel types on the left in case you're playing against any Magnet Pole Mons. But, you know, we're in the late game, we're not going to be switching. You can do that so you can actually scout to see if they have Magnet Pole. Like, for example, like Magnezone, if we had our Goldango on the left and we tried to switch it out, like if it was like the earlier on in the game, you could see if they had like Sturdy, Analytic, or Magnet Pole, because it wouldn't let you switch. Little word to your mother here. So Tailwind is going to let us, our Goldango outspeed Garchomp, and just go for a big, absolutely massive Make It Rain. Bright Powder Garchomp, Same Veil Garchomp would give us problems here, but this should let us outspeed the things that we need to outspeed and get the KOs that we need to succeed with our Choice Specs. We get the double hit, and we should be able to take these. The T-Tar's almost going down. The cool thing about this set is, I'm actually really surprised that T-Tar ate this. It tells me it might be vested. Like, there's nothing they can really do here because there's no moves that hit both of these guys. Like, you can hit the Goldango, it doesn't even get the KO because Assurance only deals double damage if I took damage with something else first. We can just go for a Sucker Punch with the Murkrow, a Make It Rain with the Goldango, and we win the game. Easy peasy. Cool. I'm not surprised that we won that one. We played to our outs. I brought the right Mons in the team preview. I pinned the Scizor early. The Scizor was the Mon that I really didn't want to deal with. We were able to double in and respect the Lycanroc, and then from there, we set up a really, really easy flowchart in the late game with Murkrow and Goldango. And if you're going to win any games with this team, it kind of has to be played like that. And even though we played it like that, there's still a ton of optimization that we can do. If we take a look real quick here at the sets and stuff like that, the Altaria can be definitely changed to Cloud 9. This guy can be changed to a more defensive set. This can be changed to an own tempo set to block Intimidates. Don't really need the mouse hold. We don't need to redirect as much as we need another Mon that can deal physical damage. And so we're going to probably switch that guy out. Murkrow's fine, great on this team. Need to change up its item and some of its EVs, but it's fine. And then the Goldango needs a little bit of a tweak, but I do like how the Goldango plays with the Murkrow as the Revenge KO late game cleanup. So that's the changes we're going to be making. This is your daily reminder to leave a like if you haven't yet. If you like these videos, if you like seeing us use the teams live, and then the team fixing part that's going to be happening, this is your reminder to leave a comment, letting me know what you think about it, leave a like, and without further ado, let's go into the team building part of today's video. Alright, so here is the team again. Altaria, Grumpig, Tinkaton, Mousehold, Murkrow, Goldango. I feel that this team is almost there. It's a little bit too one-dimensional. There's not as many protects as I would like. It doesn't really have that many good defensive switch-ins, and a lot of the mons, they're trying to do what we always see in these situations is like a race to the finish. They're trying to say, I hope I can one-shot this, and if you don't one-shot it, you kind of just lose. So what we're going to be doing is fleshing out a lot of these EV spreads, changing a lot of these movesets, and making our Pokemon be able to dish out the correct amount of damage, function at the correct speed tier, while also being able to soak the correct amount of damage and switch in on the right moves for the right situations. If we pull up all of the info here, we can see that this team, again, has good defensive typing. Like, it has great defensive typing, nothing too out of place here. I don't really know what we're going to do with this Mousehold. I think the Mousehold's probably the only one we're going to cut. I like the Murkrow, I like the Goldango. Tinkaton can definitely work on this core. It's a pivot for the things that would normally pin the Altaria, like Rock, Ice, and Dragon, and Fairy. Like, Tinkaton can switch on all of those. So it's actually a really good mon on this team. I like it here. But, you know, for example, the Mousehold, though, we need another big physical mon, in my opinion. So Mousehold's probably going to get sacked in this situation. So let's go here. I guess the first thing we want to do is just start rebuilding the team from what I think we should be doing. I don't think you need an aggressive Altaria. Like, I really don't think you need an aggressive Altaria. I think Altaria is much better off utilizing one of its brand new moves that it gets this gen. First of all, we definitely want this to be Cloud9. Being able to pair, like, Tailwind with, like, taking away the weather, this is how you actually beat those, like, sand teams. We beat the last one, but we should not have beaten them, in my opinion. So Cloud9 is great for being able to take away weather. It's so good. It works for rain, it works for sand, it works for sun, and it's really good. I think the move that a lot of people aren't utilizing on Altaria that is very good is Will-O-Wisp. I don't know why this thing gets Will-O-Wisp in this gen. It's never had Will-O-Wisp before, but it has Will-O-Wisp. And so if you were to take a look at Altaria here and see, it gets Will-O-Wisp. And, like, it's normally a flying type, flying dragon. This isn't an Altaria. This is a dragon type Rotom. And that's pretty much how we're going to play it. We're going to play it very Rotom-esque, in my opinion. And I think it's just a really cool mon. People do not expect the Will-O-Wisp. We're still probably going to run it with some special attacks and a couple other things. But it's a great mon as, like, a status switch-in pivot mon that you can use to regain momentum. You don't have to just win on the first turn. You can kind of wall your opponent out, analyze the situation, and then regain momentum when it, you know, when you feel like it. Very good mon. We're going to mess with the EVs, mess with the moves. I think as well for the Grumpig as well. It's a cool mon, but, like, realistically, you don't need an Imprisonmon on this team, especially if you're playing a little bit of a slower, more methodical game. You don't need all this speed investment. Very rarely would you ever see, like, full speed, full HP as well on a lot of mons. It just doesn't happen that often. I think the #1 move you want on Grumpig is going to be something that doesn't get. I thought this thing got Yawn. Dude, this thing gets like nothing. Holy moly. What did we even get then? What do we even get? What can Grumpig actually do then? Grumpig should set screens. That's probably what we're going to do with it. Like, it can set screens. It has a decent taunt. It gets Whirlwind. That's actually really surprising. I could have swore this thing got Yawn. I was going to make this thing into a Yawn set because, like, you know, Oinkologne gets Yawn. Everything gets Yawn. This thing doesn't get Yawn. Ooh, it gets Snarl, though. That's good. Ooh, that's really good. Okay, gets Teeter Dance. I remember that. I've seen that before. So this thing doesn't get that many moves, but, like, it gets some unique moves. I'm going to leave this thing alone for now. Does it get Iron Defense? Doesn't. This thing doesn't get anything, man. Like, dude, they're not making it easy for this guy. All right, so we'll come back to Grumpig. I think this thing can definitely be fixed into having own tempo. This is a good move set, I think. If it were me, we're definitely cut the lefties here. And I know I talk about the value of having a lot of protects. This doesn't really need it. I think Assault Vest is a good item for this thing, judging by how we're going to play it. And also lets us take off the Protect here for something like a Knockoff. And I think Knockoff's very good. I've used this set. We also take off the Thunder Wave, which is unfortunate. But, you know, we can add a couple other things in that situation as well. Probably a player up, but, you know, we'll get to it. I think a set like this could be a little bit better. We're also going to clean up these EVs in a little bit. We know that we're going to be cutting the Mousehold. This is good. This is good. We need to make this guy. I've said this a few times. If you're ever going to be using, like, random moves on Goldango, you got to think about, like, even if this was super effective, it would be 180, which is the same base power as a Make It Rain. right? Make it rains at 120, stab goes up to 180. So it's not really as worth it unless like you're really, really checked by something. And for example, like let's say you're getting checked by like a water type, like a Gyarados. That's what you want, a Thunderbolt. And you can just two-shot that thing with Shadow Ball. Or you can trick it if it goes for setup moves and you can just ignore it anyway. So I really think you need Trick on this thing. It's super, super important. This is one of the things that lets us wall, you know, so many walls. Like in certain situations where you know they're going to be Trick Rooming, let them Trick Room, let them Tail One, let them do whatever, give them your choice item, and then they're like, oh no. And then you win. So really, really good stuff. Let's think about what the last Mon on this team needs to be. It really messes up my idea for the team knowing that the Grumpig doesn't get Yawn. I don't really know what we want to do with it then. Like, it gets Encore, which is cool. It gets Taunt, which is cool. I have an idea for the Grumpig that no one's ever seen, and so I'll use that in a minute. But we need to pair it with the right Mon. See, I like Garchomp here. Like, I'm such a Garchomp stan. But I think it's right. I think Garchomp's good. You compare the Garchomp with the Altaria. First of all, we're normally flying, so you can go Earthquakes and do whatever you want with the Altaria. You compare it with the Gholdengo and go for a Flying Terra. This thing has Steel Terra. We're going to change this thing's Terra, but like I think Garchomp's good in this situation. You can also haze away your Garchomp's Intimidates, and we could put a Choice Scarf on this guy and actually let you function outside of your normal speed tier that you'd be functioning in. So I think this is really good. The things that would also pin the Altaria and stuff like that could be checked by like Scarf Garchomp. So instead of just losing your Altaria to something else, we can have the Garchomp go for a Rock Slide, Iron Head, or something like that and pin them before they actually pin our Altaria. So I like this. This is just my opinion, but I think it's good. These guys are good. I love the Murkrow set. Murkrow set's absolutely amazing, but we want to change this to a Life Orb. And again, we talked about it. We actually showed in one of the games that you don't actually need to have that defensive Eviolite if you're not going to invest defensively. I think the Life Orb just lets this thing function a lot more as a Mon that you can't really pivot or switch in, but you want to just win the game and haze away the correct things. You want to haze away your Make It Rain drops. You want to haze away potential Draco drops. I guess it's time to start working on this guy. Let's see what we want to use. We could go Gluttony. I don't think Gluttony's bad. I think Thick Fat's still the right play. The moveset that we're going to use here is going to use Encore for sure. Encore's going to be great. What moves do we want on this guy? We could put a couple different moves. I wonder if people know where I'm going to go with this. We don't really need... I think Icy Wind is going to be a good move for some speed control. And then maybe just like a special attack. Let's sort it by special and see what we actually can do. So we don't need Chilling Water. Actually might be a good one for being able to drop things special attacks, so we can like weave in Protects with a couple Mons. And we don't really have that many Protects. We don't have enough Protects to make that actually work. Probably Earth Power might be able to do it better. Being able to check things like Gholdengos, being able to check things like Armor Rouges before they Terra, that could be good. You could always go, oh, Snarl. Let's go Snarl. Snarl's great. Snarl's better than Chilling Water. The move that is going to make this Pokemon good is going to be Fling. Now, why are we using Fling? What does Fling even do? Fling's the user's item of the target, and the power varies. It's not really going to be that strong, but what Fling can do is you can fling very specific items. Like, for example, if we were to fling, like, a Light Ball, it would paralyze the target. We're not going to be flinging a Light Ball. If we were to fling, like, a Citrus Berry, it would, you know, heal the person. Like, we could self-fling a target Citrus Berry into our teammate to heal them. What we're going to be flinging, though, is a King's Rock. Now, the thing that you do with a fling King's Rock is you fling the King's Rock, and when you fling that King's Rock, it makes them flinch. Now, this sounds really weird on paper, but the fling King's Rock is just as good of a check to TR. You can actually fling King's Rock into Mimikyus, still hit them, so it's like flinching like a Fake Out into what could be a Ghost type. Stops them from doing the thing that they want. If anyone protects to stop the fling or anything like that, then you hit them with that Encore and lock them into Protect, lock them into the support moves. This is going to be Grumpig's niche that it did not have before. And you can still technically keep the same EV spread. You need to be fast to use Fling. This is a fast Icy Wind, a fast Snarl. This is probably the best that you can actually do. You can also technically flinch off of your Icy Wind and Snarl 10% of the time. Don't recommend that, but you're going to be surprised by how well this actually does. We're going to make this guy into a flying type, just so we can pair it better with the Garchomp. But this is probably the best that we can do with Grumpig while keeping it in this sort of moveset. The Altaria, we're going to go and we're going to make it Roost here. I think Roost and Will-O-Wisp are going to be great. We can put the lefties here as well. A couple different things about Altaria. There's 3 or 4 cool things that Altaria can do. Altaria also is like a good haze user. It can get things like, in singles, you can get defog. Like, it's a good mon. It gets a lot of solid options. Ice Beam's always good. I think that, like, Icy Wind is another option here. If it gets it, it doesn't, dude. None of my cool techs are working on this team, man. Let's see. It gets Ice Beam. It gets Perish Song. That's cool. You don't really need Tailwind. We want to be able to, like, wall things correctly. Let's sort it by special, because we're probably going to go special Altaria. So we got special. And so it gets all these moves. There's nothing really wrong with the Heat Wave. There's nothing really wrong with putting like a Hurricane on it or even a Draco. It's just that I feel that if you're not going to go heavily investing in that offensive stat, you don't necessarily need that much damage. Yeah, I'm just not feeling the Draco here if we're not going to be like Y4. If we're going to be more of a wall and we want to chill, I'd rather have like moves that could like drop our opponent's stats. And we don't really need like Heat Wave either, just because like we can't even pick up KOs. Like, let's check how much damage we really even need to KO Scizor with the Heat Wave. So let's go Altaria. Because Altaria, Scizor is still like a mon worthy of getting off the board in that situation. It probably will two-shot the Goldango as well. So plug in level 50. Let's plug in like a Heat Wave here. Versus just like a standard Scizor. Like a 252 Scizor. Alright. So Heat Wave does a lot there. This is Mega Altaria, of course. Mega Altaria was a cool mon, man. That was a good one. I really liked Mega Altaria. Got that heat, got that pixelate, right? So we almost KO there. So we would need, and then that's with them no investment. So there'd probably be like 252 on that Scizor, right? So like there's no way that Heat Wave can KO, and it'd be doing split damage because it's in double. So like at least it's a two-shot, but I don't know if that's worth it. Maybe we actually like Fire Spin's another solid option to be able to trap things. Let's just take a look at some other moves. Like Altaria can get a bunch of cool stuff. You can always put Protect as well. Like Protect's good, Cotton Guard's good. Like Cotton Guard with Wisp is a little bit redundant because like they basically do the same thing. You can even go Haze on this set to give yourself a better Dozo check, which like we might end up doing. You can even go Perish on this sort of set and give yourself like a lot more value. Feather Dance is another one that's basically the same as Will-O-Wisp. Let's see what we got. Sing kind of clashes a little bit with the fact that we have Wisp. Not really that many things you can do with Altaria. I actually think something like Perish Song Protect could be good, because you can go Perish Song Protect, Roost, Pivot, and you'd be able to Perish Song things a little bit later on. So like maybe that is the play with Altaria. Perish Song and Protect. So we can whittle things down with Wisps. We don't really need an attack in this situation, and this allows us to go full bulk with like a speed reduce set. So we would be like speed reduced, so we would get KO'd last by the Perish, and we'd be able to go 252 up here. And then, for example, we're mostly going to be eating probably more special attacks as with the Wisps. So probably like a 204 52 set. And it's also going into like putting our points into our nature here. And we want to be attack reduced. So something like this could be very, very good for the Altaria. And we want to be, sorry, speed reduced. So we, the way Perish Trap works is after Perish Song gets active, all Pokemon faint after 3 turns. And let's say, for example, this team obviously can't trap things. There's no Shadow Tag, there's no Arena Trap. But the way this works is, if I were to use Perish, and I have Altaria and like maybe another Mon, and you have 2 Mons, everything gets hit by Perish, they all get KO'd at the end of 3 turns. At the end of those 3 turns, even if all 4 Mons are still on the board, they get KO'd in order of speed tier. So if we're actually using a slow Altaria that's speed reduced on purpose, like let's say I'm pairing Altaria, and then you have things like a Meowscarada and like a Garchomp or something, and we're sitting here slower than those Pokemon, they'll get KO'd. We'll also get KO'd, but because we fainted last, we'll actually win the game. So that's why you want to be speed reduced, 0 speed on that sort of set. What do we want to Terra this thing? What would be the best Terra for Altaria? It's a good question. Like, what would be? It probably would be Dark. I know that sounds really weird. Just so we can stop the pranks or taunts. That's probably what I would do here. Shares the same weakness to Fairy, but it's okay. This thing will be flying. This thing, I also think that this guy should be flying, but that's just my opinion. Because we're going to be pairing a lot more with Garchomp, and we're not going to be terrorizing that often. Dark's good here. Flying's correct there. And then the Garchomp, like a standard Garchomp set. You've seen me use it a million times before. We'll just go find one that I used. You guys can see my amazing team builder. We'll actually take... That's a different Garchomp set. We're looking for a Scarf Chomp set that I've featured recently. because it's basically just the one that I recommend to people that, there we go. And we're going to speed creep it just a little bit. I love that, like, Chomp is still, like, super, super good in this format. And it forces people to respect, like, very specific speed tiers. And this Chomp, like we've already talked about, is a lot bulkier than what normal Chomps would be. We actually want to take and make this 172 so you can speed creep other people that are still using older teams. And we actually take that away from here. Cool. So, good set. So, Rough Skin, Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, Life Orb, Assault Vest, King's Rock, and Leftovers. So now that we got that done, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go play some games with us live and hopefully get some really, really cool wins that we would not normally be able to get with this team. So wish me luck on that. Another thing. Yeah, this is perfect. I was going to say, like, we wanted to do attack. I thought it was going to be special attack reduced, but no, it's fine on this set. This is going to be some weird games. Here we go. Right. So in this game, they have Pawmot, Bax Caliber. That's a Driftblim and a Houndoom. Very, very underrated cores over there. Don't know how we're supposed to deal with this. I don't think there's a single problem with leading like Murkrow, Goldango. You can just pop a lot of those things. Nothing they can really do about it. I think also, like, I think Grumpig could work here. Grumpig seems really underrated in this situation. Grumpig seems good. Garchomp seems good. Goldango's a good cleanup on here. And then we were talking about bringing Altaria, but I think you're going to need the Murkrow just because, like, I feel like we're going to need some sort of speed control. I also think, like, Sucker Punch being able to revenge KO damage on the Bax Caliber could be seen as nice. I think we're going to need something here. I don't really understand exactly what the Houndoom Driftblim do on their team. But I know that a lot of players have been using Driftblim recently. Driftblim's an underrated mon. And someone just came into my room. Oh, well. Yeah, let's see what they want to do here. I feel like we have enough stuff. I feel like also leading Garchomp is a big pin to things like the Pawmot and the Tinkaton. While also like wanting... We could also even go like Goldango to pin the Amoonguss here. That's one of the reasons why Goldango has like a Flying Terra, to be able to just go for a big Terra Blast in the Amoonguss if we had to. But I feel like Grumpig could just go for a fling into that spot to stop a Spore. So let's see what they want to do here. It looks like they're not even here. Oh, they're there. Okay, cool. I mean, I waited maybe my whole life here. Awesome. So this is totally, totally fine. They can get Tailwind up with that thing, but we have the same base speed, so I can try and speed tie it and fling. I'm just going to go for an Icy Wind. I don't think there's a problem with Icy Wind, and do I want to Terra that thing? I don't actually care about Earthquaking this guy, do I? I don't. Like, I actually just don't. I mean, I guess I could just Stomping Tantrum. Yeah, let's do that. If you want to Fake Out there and Wisp there, that's fine too. I can't really do anything about that. Fake Out, take the Rough Skin damage. Should be fine. You can Tailwind here. Nothing really wrong with that. Icy Wind. So we did win the speed tie. Let's see if they have like a weakness policy or something weird. So it's a Tailwind. Awesome. So I still think... Oh, it's Flare Boost. Cool. That's actually really, really cool. I like that a lot. So they got the Tailwind up. We're going to go for one more Icy Wind. We actually still outspeed with Garchomp, so we're just going to stay in and just go for a Stomping Tantrum. Yep. Cool. So get that guy off the board. Haze! Oh, nice. I like that. So many good Haze users in this format. But again, like, we're still just keeping the pin on them. Garchomp still outspeeds here. Even though they have a Tailwind up, we're still in a really, really good spot. Amoonguss, something that we know we outspeed. Love this for us. So we fling here. And we can go for a Stomping Tantrum in that spot. We don't even have to fling there. We can just pivot in the Goldango. We can just Encore this guy to doing whatever he wants. Let the Amoonguss do whatever it wants. Pivot in the Goldango that they can't Spore it, and then we win the game. Cool. So unless he's using Shadow Ball this turn, we're fine. And even if he is using Shadow Ball, we can always Terra our Goldango into something weird. Air Slash. Cool. Oh, the flinch. Unlucky, bro. We blocked the Spore. Absolutely fine. Last turn on Tailwind. They probably are going to go for a Shadow Ball in that spot. It doesn't really matter. Let's see. We can just go for the Icy Wind just to make sure that thing can pivot in. Just go for a Make It Rain. Protect. Cool. So actually, that's going to let us Encore that slot, unless they Spore here, which they totally can. It's a lot of damage on the Amoonguss slot. They can totally Spore there. Survey says, oh, flinch! We got the King's Rock flinch! We got the King's Rock flinch! Bro, dude. That's hilarious. Okay. Oh, dude, we don't have to Encore. We can just go for Make It Rains. That's so funny. He's probably questioning his life choices. 10% chance flinch on the King's Rock. Go for the Protect. I can just Encore loop that later. Make It Rain is going to finish off the Drift Bloom. I'm probably going to pivot out my Goldango. Or, yeah, after this -2. Unless, like, the mon they bring in is just, like, Backs Caliber. I'll stay inverse Backs. Houndoom. Cool, we just pivot. We just Encore Loop the Amoonguss here and know that's a free switch into the Garchomp. Garchomp should be able to switch on Houndoom. Even if it has, like, Dark Pulse, I don't think they can get the KO with it. Flamethrower is completely fine. It sucks to get burned, but it's no big deal. Nice. So it has to go for the Protect loop. And then from here, just not that much you can do. We can pivot back in the Goldango. That's a Flying Mon. We can even pivot in the Murkrow if we felt like it. I think that Murkrow's actually a better pivot to save the Goldango in the back. And just go for EQ, baby. Nice. They get a... Is that a double Protect? No. But anyways, you can see the Houndoom's going to take damage as it's sashed. Nope. Dunzo. And the power of the King's Rock, bro. That was so... Hey, you can tear out all you want, buddy. You can tear out all you want, dude. The King's Rock. We didn't even get the fling, and we still take those wins. We're going to play another one, because that one was a little bit weird. All right, so that's a little bit of a weird one. Like, double Prankster users mean Altaria is going to be very, very good here. We can totally go with Altaria. Probably going to be Terra Darking at this game, which is really, really fun. Garchomp's good. They don't have a ton of speed control, but they do have, like, the ability to bring in Gyarados in and Intimidate us, so that's kind of not great. I think something like Altaria Grumpig can actually go good here for being able to wall out the game correctly and then clean up with something like, you know, Garchomp probably, and probably the Goldango. I think Goldango is still a good mon to bring in. You can go for that Flying Terra, wall the Garchomp for one turn and just win the game. We don't always need to bring things like Murkrow. Don't always need to bring things like Tinkaton. They're really, really solid. So yeah, Icy Winds, Will-O-Wisps, they're great here. Like, they are great. And we don't outspeed either of these mons with Altaria, but what we can do is just go for Protect here and Icy Wind, and then now we do outspeed. And if they do anything weird, we can just Encore them. Hopefully we don't get flinched. Icy Wind. Nice. Nice. And note that we're faster than Gyarados right now, so even if they were to go for something weird... Wow, they went for an Outrage and actually hit that target. Unlucky. So we're just going to Wisp this Garchomp here. And... I guess I could fling Gyarados this turn. Yeah, I like that play. Cool. So we get the fling off. Lose the Grumpig. Oh, that Garchomp's scarfed. It still outspeeds Maltaria. We know that now. Now it's burned. Awesome. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So that means our Garchomp's going to be able to come in and be an absolutely massive bully. We can also just bring Goldango. And we know for a fact that they're scarfed, so they have to use Rock Slide here. So we can just go for... I think Dark Terra is what we want. I think we could even think about... Gyarados is stuck using Outrage as well, so we can just go for a free Roost here. And... like, I think this is just a Make It Rain turn. Or we could even just go Shadow Ball. There's nothing wrong with Shadow Ball in that slot. Shadow Ball the Gyarados. Doesn't get the KO because it's a bulky boy, but like... Oh, it's not Scarfed. Wait, why is it faster than... Oh yeah, Altaria doesn't have any speed investment. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. This is my fault. My fault for being bad. And Gyarados say I got flinched, so it stopped the Outrage. That's a big misplay for me, but it's okay. Garchomp is L burned. We can just probably go for another Roost here. Nothing really wrong with that. And Shadow Ball into the Garchomp slot this turn. I guess we could also just Will-O-Wisp the Gyarados here, right? Yeah. A little bit better play. Awesome. So Garchomp's going to go down. Gyarados is going to get burned. Oh, miss a Wisp. Bro, you think I just Wisp for my health, bro? Never lucky. Unlucky. So Gallade's a bit of an issue. Gallade can outspeed us. I can KO there and Wisp the Gallade. Or I could Protect with my Altaria. Get a Leftovers tick. See what they do against the Gallade. Or see what they do here. I'm actually going to do that. We're going to Protect here. And we'll just go for a Shadow Ball. I want to get the Gallade off the board if possible. They're probably going to tear it. I'm just going to have to Gyarados then. Yep, they're tearing. Cool. That was a good play for me. Great play. Like, I love everything about this play from me. That was an amazing play from me. And now, what we do is we're going to try and drop a Perish. I think it could be clean. Let's do it. See if they tear anything. Ah, they could be Scarf. We don't know. Psycho Cut. I mean, we're a Dark type, bro! So Gallade's going to Perish in 3. Goldango's unaffected by Perish, which means Perish is like still a really good option in these sort of situations. But we have a Scarf Chomp, so we're still really, really good. They already tear it, so they can't tear a flying. Like, they're basically just stuck here now. We go for a Wisp into not that slot. Well, no. We go for a Wisp over here. We can even go for a Protect here. Actually, Protect is a better play because Protect makes it so we take spread damage from things like Make It Rain for 2 turns. Also can make them waste attacks in that slot, and we just go EQ. Anyways, we use both the Mons in this situation, guys. Like, we did it. There's Sash on the Gallade. We should be fine here. Make It Rain's not going to do as much. Makes him take spread damage for... Oh, they crit us. That sucks. Ooh, is that bad? They went for the... Go. You see, they went to the Altaria slot. Easy peasy, bro. Easy peasy. Altaria making plays for days out here. And again, we can't wisp that Goldango, so we made the right play. Yeah, that crit on the Make It Rain was very, very problematic. But we're going to get the KO on the Gallade. And then we're going to be able to get this one, unless there's some sort of weird Quick Claw set. And Altaria's Perish Song goes to 1. Never lucky, Altaria. Doesn't really matter. Get that big Protect just for no reason at all. And we'll take the 1 on the Goldango. So you can see in the couple games that we showed with this team, like, we were able to make the small changes and get up the flings. We were able to go over Perishes. And we're able to do the things that we wanted. I feel like we can switch a little bit easier. I feel we have a little bit more control of the game using moves like Encore Snarl and, you know, the Fling as well. Tinkaton got just slightly adjusted. Murkrow got its item adjusted. The Goldango, I feel, is just a more well-rounded option. And the Garchomp provides, like, the necessary ability to pin in the late game that the team was missing before. So hopefully you guys like these changes. Like I always say, if the owner of this team makes this into a new rental, I'll definitely stream some games with this on Twitch. But other than that, thank you so much for submitting the team. If you guys like these sort of team building guides and you want to submit your own teams, you can check out the link in the description to where the official submission post is. There's still a lot of teams on there, but I'm doing like 2 or 3 teams a day, and we're trying our very best to work through all of them. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Peace out, and I'll see you guys next time.